Hello and welcome to part 4 of how to make a file manager app for Android. In the previous tutorial we did stuff related with the UI, with the list view, text adapter, and we also completed the permissions request for Android Lollipop, post Lollipop devices, Marshmallow, and after and newer. Okay, so in this tutorial we will actually start figuring out how to start to access to the directories in our device, list files, maybe change operations with files and all of that. So the first thing we will do, we will go to the onCreate method right here, and after the listeners, or maybe just after set content view, in order for have a more clean code, we will set the root path. So we say final string that, final string root path, which will be equal to a string that value of, and we will access the environment. So say environment that get external storage, external public directory. Okay, and we can do this now because we already figured out about the permissions. The problem here is that maybe the permissions are not set, so maybe that's not a good idea. Okay, and so how can we figure this out? Well, we will cut this line and we will move it to the onResume method, and here we will we will paste first. Okay, and here we have two options really. And to better improve these, we will merge these two if statements. So we go if SDK int is greater than marshmallow, and we will say and the inner if are permissions denied, and we set also request permissions, all of that, and we'll set return. Okay, and here after the if we will paste what we copied previously. Okay, to paste something that we copied previously, thanks to the IDE, is not lost. So we press Ctrl Shift B and we go and say this root path. Okay, so this is the same we typed previously. So final string root path, string value of environment get external public directory, and inside these we can ask for a specific folder, for example environment that and here we can search maybe for the one we want, like environment okay, so environment, what's going on here? So I want to search for the downloads folder, for example. So environment dot directory, and here we can select one of these if we want. For example, we want to browse or to set the downloads folder as the default Okay, so go downloads. Okay, as simple as that. Now we have the downloads folder right here, and here we will say if permissions denied, then we are requesting permissions, right? We're requesting permissions and we return. Okay, but what happens if permissions are granted? Okay, so if permissions are granted, we have to call the onResume method in order for this to be initialized. So to do that, we get and check here in onRequest permission result. The first check was if the permissions are denied, so we say else on resume. Okay, and we have fixed our problems. Okay, so now we have the root path right here, and now we have, if we want to find, but we don't want to define the root path every time onResume is called, right? So to avoid that, we create a flag that we'll call private boolean. How can we call it? We want to know if stuff is initialized. So is file manager initialized, and we'll set it to false. Okay, and of course we want to run this code only if file manager is not initialized. So if negation is file manager initialized. So we say if file manager is not initialized, then we move this to inside this if statement. Okay, you can print a new line here in order for you to see what's going on here. Okay, so we have a string with a path, and now we want to access files, or in this case a directory. So you're going to say final file, and we'll say beer, for example, new, and we say new file path. It's not path, it's root path. Okay, and inside this we can create a file array in order to know how many files we have and which file we have inside the root path, which is the downloads folder. Okay, so you're gonna go and say final file array, and we say files. We'll call it files, and this will be equal to dir dot list files. Okay, and now we also want to display the current path on the application to know, in order for us to know where we are. Okay, so we go to layout 1, and we will create a text view below the title of the app. The width will be match parent, the height will be 50 dp, and text color will be black, gravity will be center, and text size will be 22 sp, for example, or maybe even 20 sp. Okay, and the ID for this text view object will be ID path output. Okay, so we go to our main activity.java file, and here we will display our path output. So final text view path output, which will be equal to find view by ID r.id that path output. And of course, never forget to set is file manager initialized to true. So maybe we will set this as the last line of this if statement. So is file manager initialized true. Okay. So we have path output, and we'll say path output that set text root path. Okay, for now that will be what we will do. Okay, now the files, we have the files and we have their files, right? And we want the files to be displayed on our list view. Okay, for that we will create an int, say final. I always use finals, but it's not really a must to use finals. Okay, final int files found count, so which is how many files were found. This will be files dot length. Okay, and now we will say we will fill the list view and adapter with these files. For these, we will go to the onCreate method and we will get these files right here, this list view right here. We will copy all this code right here. Okay. After the set onClick set listener, the set onClick listener, we will move this code into the onResume method. Okay. So just right here. And instead of 100, we will set this to files found count. Okay, and instead of example, we will rename this. To rename this, we press Shift F6 and we will set this to files list. Okay, this is the files list, and basically we will change this string to a string value of, and instead of this we will say files I dot get path maybe, or get absolute path. Okay, so please make sure you have the same as I, and let's run to see if this is working. So we are running, we are first building, compiling the project, we wait for the compilation to finish, and now it's indexing files, installing APK, and launching APK. And as you can see right now, we can see that we have storage emulated 0 and download. Okay, this is the path we're working in, and we don't have files just because I don't have files in the download folder. So for the next tutorial, please download files from the internet so we can start experimenting with these files. So basically, get files in your device and put them on the downloads folder, and I will do the same, and we will continue in the next tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.